Bill's got another video from the Pittsburgh Narrow Gauge Convention where he and Tom and Jeff were. So Phil, I'll turn it over to you before we close this thing out. And this is going to be our caboose for this evening.
Thank you, Jim. So last week we showed kind of the East Broad Top, a little bit of the speeder ride. This week we've got us a little bit more on the rest of the grounds and then a shop tour. So we'll go ahead and run that now. I just want to get a couple of pictures of these guys. These are kind of cool. Yard here. Yep.
You should use that video you made edited for the caboose.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do with these. I take some of these videos and
Truck goes on.
yep.
They do have a turntable, yeah, not any.
Howdy, how you doing?
Good. It's a yard turntables across the street.
Oh, it's this one on this map.
Yep, on this map. A lot of these items that you're seeing are digital.
That's M1, which I believe is the only existing narrow gauge gas electric in the United States.
Yeah, there were rides on that, but you had to reserve them ahead of time.
It's very neat. There's a window in the back of the cab. You can see the engineer's arrangement, and the poor engineer gets to sit right next to the gasoline engine.
Please get off the stone, only on the grass, oh please.
That's pretty neat too. Is it still a 44 tonner when it's narrow gauge?
Interesting enough, the sides of the car, I think, are all vinyl. Either vinyl or steel.
This is the most fun part.
Yeah, I started running at 2019. Yeah. 4 years. I just couldn't use it anymore. Everything was correct. I was just telling
Here, I can check something super quick.
I made my own, you can tell these kids so I was going to be in a contest.
All right, but I need to check something. Are there any cab riders here in my group?
By the way, look at the color of the rails there for coloring your rails.
Put a sign on my back. Follow me. Or don't. All right. Sorry. Okay, cool. So, all right, we got everybody? All right, we're going to give you as much time as I can to watch this thing go and stuff. So I was asking a question. How many of you have actually taken this tour either in the recent years or years and years ago? Years and years ago. All right, so if you haven't been here in the last 4 years, I'm assuming it's a little bit nicer looking in here and things are a little brighter and the windows aren't falling out or boarded up. Buildings aren't falling down. We've put an incredible amount of work into these shops in the last 4 years, but not only that, starting in the early 2000s with what the Friends of the East Broad Talk have done. That's where I got involved originally was volunteering here. I was on what they call the Boiler House Rats crew. We rebuilt everything you see above here, jacked the buildings up. These buildings were so close to collapsing in the late 90s that one good snowstorm probably would have done it in. Over the last 20 years, and especially in the last 4, we've now stabilized every building. Pretty much everything except for the couple that are obvious out here have been stabilized. Started installing fire suppression. As you can see the orange and black piping up there in 2020. We're on the final phase of that. What started out as a $250,000 project is now run into about $1.25 million due to things out of our control such as inflation and water system, water supplies, things of that nature. So everything you see that looks new has been replaced, was probably done mostly by the Friends. There's a whole lot of work that got done in the last 4 years that you can't see, because I always joke that the Friends work really hard to make it look like they've done nothing at all, which is the point of it all. So shop was first constructed about 1883. Where you're standing right now is the original footprint. Over time, it kind of expanded out. The original locomotives were about half the size of the number 14 back there. 1904 to 1910, President Siebert modernized the railroad. So most of the machines you see in here were purchased between 1904 and 1910. Very well equipped shop for a small railroad like this out in the middle of nowhere even then. They did a lot of work for the mines that they owned, but also for the brick plants in Mount Union, plus a lot of local business as well. The heart and soul of the whole complex really is Babcock and Wilcox boilers. Not only do they supply steam for the shop engine, they supply the steam heat to 13 buildings in the shop complex, the station, Marco House up on the hill, which is now the American Legion, was the president's house for a while, and a bunch of houses in town that were company houses had steam heat from here. And then behind the double doors, you'll see the electric generator. So before commercial electricity was available, they provided lighting for the buildings and also for the buildings I just mentioned. They turned it on at 7 in the morning and shut it off at 11 o'clock at night. So basically, it's just like if you're old enough to remember when the TV actually turned off at midnight and then came back on. Every time it gets a little more drawn out, I gotta wait.
So dramatic.
So, yes. I like to hear it though. I'm glad at least we get it out.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, we go to a lot of antique shows anywhere we can find it. And we've had some farmers locally that had sawmills that donated it to us. So we've got a pretty good supply of the leather building. Basically, this belt here was a seamless belt, which meant it had no end. So there were craftsmen back in those days that, it's got about 7 layers of leather in it, and then it's all staggered and lapped over each other. And they were glued it together, endless belt. We had to cut it when we fixed the building, unfortunately, and when we laid it out, it was like 82 feet long, 12 inches wide. Grab that rope hanging down from the, give it a tug. This is running probably about a third of the speed of what it does today. Relatively quiet. The little creaking that you hear is what drives me insane all summer because I just can't quite get it right. The building, some of these buildings had settled like 11, 12 inches, so it's amazing that the line staff went back and just can't finish. They still have a little bit of memory to them. So over the winter we went through with the laser transit, got them all set perfect. Spent about 2 weeks doing that just to turn it on and have it make more noise than it did when we started. So I was like, it's been fun. Yeah, we've been fun in a happy spot. But it hadn't moved in 50 plus years, so as wide as it is, I'm happy with that. Pretty much last year and this year, we installed all new roofs on these buildings outside of one small section. It's nice now to have everything
Check out that wheel lathe on the left, or wheel turner on the left.
I'm one of the folks who visited this shop in the old days when it was filled with clutter. It's amazing to see it now all cleaned up. Because literally when they stopped using it, they just walked away and left everything piled in there. And the floor space was very cluttered. Now all these open aisles, and it looks like a working shop. It's remarkable.
In case you're wondering, sir, the drive's going to demonstrate the plan.
Well, that's our show for this evening. We really do appreciate you being here. We hope you enjoyed the show. Most importantly, we hope you learned something. After all, that's what it's all about. Have a happy, happy Thanksgiving. See you next Wednesday. Pat, Phil, thank you so much. Great job.